Hello everyone and welcome to the part 8 factory playthrough of the Might and Magic map. In the previous part we reached the white tent and started moving around the map. At this point our goal is to further speed up by reaching the fly and dimension door spells. And of course we are welcomed by this amazing fight you always wanted to see, brought to you by none other than myself. You are welcome. Okay. Jokes aside, I'm sorry for subjecting you to this horrible fight, but let's use it as an opportunity to talk about kiting. For those who don't know, kiting is what I'm doing with enchanters here. Basically, you're trying to bait enemy units to follow you, and obviously you don't want them to reach you. So generally you want to have a unit who does kiting and a separate unit who deals damage to the enemies. In this case we only have a single unit that serves both as a kite and a damage dealer. This is generally a bit more difficult to do kiting when both roles are put on the same unit, but in this case we are against dwarves and also we have a slow, so it's a rather easy fight anyway. There are a couple of challenges with kiting. One major challenge is enemy morale. As you can see, I actually didn't bring any morale negating artifact with this V-stun here, and so I have to deal with morale now. Obviously the best on my part would be to actually bring an artifact and not have to deal with morale, but sometimes when you have to do the kiting, you kind of actually do not have an artifact to bring, so sometimes you still have to do that in this circumstance. So we'll talk about negating morale here. And another challenge is preventing enemy units from spreading, so when they're spread out, it becomes a bit harder to kite. Now, as you can see, units are spread out, and I run back and forth, basically trying to make the further units to catch up to the closest, and also basically trying to gather them all in the same place. And so that's me trying to prevent them from spreading out. Now, sometimes they still will spread out, so this obstacle up top will inevitably become a nuisance in this situation, and they will be spreading out because of it. So another problem is morale, as I mentioned, and you obviously don't want them to hit an unlucky morale and then just hit your face. So what you want to do is, as much as possible, to stay away from them as far as possible. So in this case, dwarves have a speed of 3. So if I maintain a distance of 7 from them, even if dwarves get a morale, they won't hit me. Now, basically, that's not very easy to do when there are like 7 stacks or more. Even like 5 stacks is a bit of a challenge. But it's the fewer the stacks, the easier it is. And also, when there are 6 stacks, you can maintain a solid distance against at least some of them. Okay, so that reduces your risk of getting hit after morale. So we are done with this fight. I hope you loved it as much as I did. And we are back to actually playing, and by playing I mean looking at my inventory. So it's time to activate another event. So as I mentioned in the previous part, there are a couple of events around this magic spring, and I want to go down this road because this road leads to a bonus zone for factory, and what it means is that there is an extra factory town. There are quests for my factory heroes, so among other things there is a quest for Floribird to gain a resurrection scroll. And also there are many factory units which I could hire in the future. So that's a very nice zone for me. That's not an event fight, not an event that I mentioned. That's still an easy fight. As you can see, all we need to do is to send automatons in, and basically Quattles do not have a good target to reach after we applied slow to them. And also we'll double the mana on Agar here. I mean, he has plenty of mana, but it's day 6. Unlikely I will send any other hero here to double mana. Now Floribird has most of his movement points spent already, and so he will actually go fight the event I mentioned, and this event will take his movement points, all remaining movement points away. And so basically same thing here. Like, one challenge in this fight and in some other fights is when you have a fast unit like Quattles against us that will reach our back rank units on turn 1. So I closed my halflings with Quattles and also used invulnerability on them for one reason. So Quattles will try to block my shooters on turn 1, and these are bounty hunters. But when they do block the unit, sometimes it seems like they try to attack a weaker unit of all. So they choose a spot next to a unit and then they attack a unit that is weaker that is adjacent to that spot. So if my Quattles were not invulnerable, so they would actually attack Quattles. Now it's question if bounty hunters are actually not weaker than juggernauts, but maybe it's an AI issue. AI not frequently attacks shooters themselves, so maybe when AI calculates who's a stronger unit to attack, maybe it doesn't take the melee penalty into consideration. I'm not sure, but it's kind of very prevalent in my experience that AI often prefers to attack a melee guard, basically, unit. And in this case, these were juggernauts. A perfect target for me. So that's, as I mentioned, a very important town for our plans here, and we will use it. So So there are a few separate vectors, directions of expansion, or you could say maybe independent tasks that I will be pursuing at this point. So you can see me setting up some stuff here. And I think Agar will go first. And Agar will only use his little worms. He's a specialist in these worms, so kind of a nice unit actually. When we are talking about Agar, now there are a few things I had to take into account here, and one is that I have a limited number of books, so I needed to make sure that my heroes later will have the books necessary, so, and also kind of usual planning. So also Wistan frees up the green den, and now Wistan will... Okay, that's... I think I did it already before that, so that's like a very minor optimization just to make sure that Agar wastes a little bit less movement points due to the swamps here. And so Agar will I wanted to say fly, will sail east from here, and the current goal of Agar is to defeat the guards of the fly scroll. So that's the goal. Now the fly is locked by a quest guard that requires spell powers of 70. That's quite a lot. But Sealy is actually very close, so she will actually very soon get this spell power, and will be able to take this spell and the scroll. There are, I think, in all cases, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's in all cases when there is a quest guard for one of these two spells, Fly and Dimension Door, there is also a scroll for this spell. Very conveniently. And so basically Agar sails towards that quest guard, and Celia still needs to boost her spell power a notch so that she could actually get that the fly spell. And that's where she heads. So for these two schools of magic, I had to slow them. Maybe I didn't have to, I don't know. Okay, actually, I think she... Oh, I mean, she doesn't have... as you can see, she doesn't have a lot of spell power. So she doesn't have her items, she doesn't have fire orb, so that kind of a mess up on my part, obviously. Should have taken care of that. But luckily she has just enough. Okay. Probably building Mage Guild for her to restore her mana. Now I keep those armadillos in garrison, and I think it's not... I mean, it's obvious mistake, I think. So, whenever I keep a hero in a garrison with armadillos, or basically any unit having a speed of 10 or below, this hero will have less movement points next turn, basically, so it's not ideal. Now Bertram will go to another location. That is not particularly important on its own, but this location being a bonus town, like as bonus towns I mentioned before. So every bonus town has a couple of features that are very important for me, and actually more than a couple, but in this particular case it's important that each bonus town has a Library of Enlightenment that is +2 to all stats, and also I think it's a Colosseum of Magic, I'm not sure, but the thing that gives you +2 spell power or knowledge for your choice, so that's basically 4 spell power for Silly. So that's kind of pretty good. And so, as you can see, I'm splitting my army here. Bertram took all shooters and 1 Phoenix, and he'll go do some things. So he's gonna be going for a town, for a bonus zone. That is also located to the east from here, and he'll be sailing there. Bertram has Resurrection, so that's kind of good, but he doesn't have mana, almost doesn't. Forgot a few item swaps before that, now fixing that. Obviously Bertram, having mostly shooter army here, will benefit a lot from extra attack skill. Okay, just... I'm not sure what spell did I check for. Maybe forcefield? I think I did mess up before that. Maybe not before that, I'm not sure. Well, I don't want to spoil you some fun. You will actually see me doing some impressive things, like forgetting spells and then trying to come up with a solution, and that may actually look like it's all been planned by me, but I'm here to tell you No. Well, obviously you don't know about what I'm talking about, but yeah. I'll leave you in suspense for now, so that you come back and watch another part. Now I left Ignatius on this bucket last turn, not knowing for actually I want to use him, and not knowing actually which hero would actually be best on that bucket. Kind of a last second thing that did not matter. Probably did not matter. So I think my remaining army is mostly mechanics at this point, so it's engineers, automatons, juggernauts, and quattles, and some phoenixes as well. So I will be using this army as well, and basically the goal is to reach another bonus town with this army in the next 2 days. So that's kind of my goal at this point. And you'll see how it goes, hopefully shortly. Grindan is another diplomat, by the way. It's not particularly exciting otherwise, but it's a mage hero with diplomacy. Kind of unique, I guess, in that sense. Although I only had a single diplomat until that point. So it's can be quite nice. And I mentioned before that I may just never be using diplomacy, but I think there are quite a few actually targets for diplomacy. For factory anyway, I mean I play as a factory, so that's from which perspective I assess this map. So there are quite a few creatures in my bonus zone, that is the zone where my Floribird last fought at event. So there are quite a few units, and many of them actually are hireable, so I will hopefully be able to hire some. So Ignatius has the army, and his goal is to do some things around Sport. He will cross ways with Rosic, but first he will flag a lighthouse here. So that's basically the idea. And also he has many units from different factions, so I want to pass some morale items so he doesn't choke. And the same army will be given to Rosic later, so she won't have this problem, and she would otherwise have much bigger problems than Ignatius, who really doesn't have challenging fights ahead. So he goes for this lighthouse, basically. Primary goal. In general, I probably mentioned it, but it's worth repeating, I think, is that on a similar large map, and basically on any map that has large amounts of water, you really want to flag as many lighthouses as possible. Lighthouses are busted. Busted as in overpowered. So, and it's kind of a good reason not to take navigation, actually. If you have access to many lighthouses, your heroes will have large movement points pull on water anyway, so gaining like a couple of thousands of extra movement points is not gonna be that impactful. Even though like 2000 of extra movement points is huge. But it's not that impactful on water. So I probably forgot to equip moral items here. That's I don't know, probably some of my biggest problems. I just constantly forget to equip things. I do edit out some of these mess ups, but this fight is relatively easy, so I guess I didn't bother. Didn't bother restarting it, and most of the time I don't bother unless like I just mess up royally. And trust me, I do mess up royally a lot. So Rosic will take a shortcut to the same location where Ignatius is. And this shortcut is this portal. And she will take this boat. Well, not this, but this. Oh, it's the same boat, but one step closer. One step closer to the edge, one might say. This step will actually be quite important. It's kind of actually funny how often one step can make a difference. Let's just say that Rosic's travel schedule on the next turn will be quite tight. And so we're back to thinking. Well, Sam will probably sleep over in this town to restore mana. And now Melchior goes to sit on this bucket. Okay, I don't have any good use for Grindan, so he does some silly stuff. Now check items, make sure that all hats are admiral hats are equipped. Now I'm building level 1 creatures. I'm not sure if it's really useful, but I guess building sprites is definitely useful. They can be converted to skellies. So it's kind of what, like 45 gold per piece. That's the boost. So if I think sprite is what, like 25 gold? Not sprite, fairy I guess is unupgraded. So that's 25 gold I think, and skeleton warrior is 70 if I recall correctly. So it's 45 gold per income basically per one fairy. That is when I convert it to skelly, upgrade it, and then sell. And so there are 50 total if I build both castle and whatever the building that gives you 10 more. So that's like 2000 gold per week, like a lot actually, but when you think about the fact that I have to build a citadel and a castle, it doesn't sound all that compelling, does it? So kind of dumb, but there we go. Not first dumb thing I did, not last. I also have this completionist urge, I guess, building everything up. Kind of silly, but I mean, it's not a big deal, if I'm completely honest with you. So I need to pass all morale items. Yes, I did. Good job, me. And I actually can, I think I can brag here. I did it on the first try. Good job, me. Good job, me. Okay. I kept a few phoenixes, just in case other heroes might find them useful. Now going for this fountain doesn't net me extra movement, so I'm trying to minimize movement lost here. Every step counts here. So in case you wonder why I a bit jumped here, when I moved attacking, then there is an inventory out of nowhere, and you may have noticed a few cases like this in this video, maybe not in this video, but in previous videos. And that's generally a result of editing, so I forgot to change items. And then I really regretted that I forgot to change items, so... Okay, that's a sloppy position with coatls. So basically I want to have automatons take all hits, and also juggernauts. As you... Well, Rosic does have resurrection, but as you can imagine, resurrection with spell power of 24 is not particularly strong. And 20 is not much, but 80 ghost dragons can hit quite a bit. I mean, they hit like almost like coatls, a bit stronger. So previously I think I said that 500 coatls hit like maybe 10 archangels, so That's about the same power as 80 ghost dragons. Sounds about right. But 700 engineers do actually repair for a lot of health points. So that's way better in terms of mana management. Easy wrap up. Several a bit annoying fights. Nothing to talk about. A bit of a waste of time. Not too bad though. It's not like the one we started with, the infamous 80 enchanters against 4,000 of dwarves. Now that was glorious. These are not as awful, but okay, so that's where Rosic was going, and she lost morale in that event, but luckily for us, there were these mummies there to give us a hug and lift our morale before this fight. Very nicely positioned. I mean, that's what our mom is there for, after all. And these mummies were not an exception. Okay, this fight, I mean, it may look like a difficult fight, honestly. Kind of pretty big stacks of knights and vampires and even like thousands of leeches. Look pretty scary, but that's not actually a difficult fight. Just spread out units a little bit to make sure that leeches don't have a good shot. I mean, they could maybe attack phoenixes and titans. Now maybe I should have moved phoenixes a little bit somewhere to avoid that, but lucky for me they chose to attack automatons, and same as before, I basically did not mind that one bit. Okay, that's what I want from them. And now second leech stack will be blocked by juggernauts, so I no longer have to spread my units against cloud attack. I need to kill ghost dragons just to make sure that my cloned engineers move faster than everyone in the enemy army. So that I don't have to either cast a haste on them, like I did in the fight against dragons, or be concerned about losing them. I mean, it would not be just concern. The clone would always be killed should the dragons have a move. So I could theoretically move my engineers, like real engineers, with haste within range of dragons, then clone them, then use clone to repair, and next turn move engineers away, but that's kind of annoying. And so dealing with dragons is much easier here. And at this point, I think it's pretty obvious where this fight goes. We'll just slowly but steadily remove all of the units. Probably should repair at this point. Okay, I didn't. Oh, there are vampires in the enemy army, so I'm not risking to kill anyone by accident. Okay, nice and easy. Now Rosic will take a rest in this town. maybe not now. Maybe Bertram will do some good stuff first. So Rosic headed for the Necropolis bonus town, and Bertram goes for the Castle bonus town. Lucky for me, I have forcefield here. Now I discharge into 2 different stacks to make sure that I drain resurrections from all 7 stacks. And now it's pretty easy. I will need to resurrect now, and since I have higher speed, I don't have to cast forcefield here. Very nicely put bottle of mana, or vial of mana. I have now 79 mana, and that should be just enough for the fight ahead, or like for several fights actually. And so that's the fight we will have to take a few times in the coming days. So that's gonna be a test of our abilities here. Now obviously I want first cast to be an anti-magic. I need a small trick here to make it work. And hopefully you will see this small trick in a second. And the trick is to hypnotize, and well, it did not work. Okay. Happens. Lucky for me, it works now. And I used spells, damaging spells to, well, Armageddon specifically, to conveniently reduce numbers of dragons. And so we did just fine. Now this scroll there is a fly, and the quest Seer also gives the fly spell. And the quest guard asks for spell power of 70 to enter. Okay, so Rosic will go actually rest somewhere else. Melchior will go south with Floribert. Very conveniently placed rogues also, because the event Floribert fought also takes away morale. So any easy fight is always welcome, when you can basically dispel the morale loss. And Melchior will hire halflings here. Very good job, buddy. Okay, this shield, the lion or whatever shield from the Angelic Alliance set, is one of my goals in this location. Should be nice and easy now. Now, this fight is not to get a red tent, as you may have imagined. I already have a red tent. So this fight is for the seer's hut behind it. And that seer is not Floribert, as you may have also assumed. That would be quite nice if it actually was for Floribert. But it's a quest for Sam. Also a good quest, so I don't mind it. And she will get 2000 of engineers. Pretty good. Pretty dang good. Okay, I probably should repair automatons this turn. Okay. Also makes sense. Oh, okay, that's good. Easy fight. Okay, now I think Melchior will go hire one of the robots. And that's one quite nice thing is that when you enter a tile where you could be fighting several units, there is a very specific order in which they will be fighting you. So next unit to fight will be enchanters always in this situation. Easy enough. I can't hire another automaton army because I don't have money, unfortunately. So that's a day 7. I will want to have Floribird visit these stables, or maybe other. I mean, these stables sound like the best choice by far, unless I need to remove Floribird from here. I don't remember exactly. He may have to go. Obviously, I don't want this army to be stuck here for long, so I may actually end up moving it from here. I probably should. We'll see. I think I shouldn't have activated this ability this time. Probably should have attacked the 7 this turn and then put coatls between my juggernauts and the ones under them to also create a bit of a block for this. Well, it won't matter, but would be a bit better. So I have a few heroes with movement, so it would be reasonable to move army from that position, from that location. Now I mentioned that there are Library of Enlightenment and Colosseum of Magic in a zone of each bonus town, but what I didn't mention is that in some zones they are so far from the town itself, so it's kind of not actually even funny. So for example, in zone with these conflicts, the Colosseum is pretty nicely very close to the town itself, but the Library of Enlightenment is so far that I don't know if I ever get enough time to visit, honestly. It's actually ridiculous how far it is. So just putting all of my non-automaton units further away to make sure that no one else gets hit. Misplaced my juggernauts. Should have moved them further so that they did not block way to engineers. So bless, I mean, kind of a weird spellcast. Also shouldn't have waited with juggernauts, should have moved them away. A bit sloppy. Should move them back and then we'll repair next turn. Overcomplicated the fight, for sure. Silly will go do silly things. She got her items back also. Her spell power looks pretty dang good. She will do some fighting here. As you can see, I don't bring most of my army to most of the fights, but the fights are still kind of not actually that difficult. So that actually does not, I mean, it actually makes things pretty easy in general. Obviously, when it comes to fighting enemy heroes, like the strongest ones, it will definitely be more of a challenge to do them without main army. But it's not difficult to do these fights. So I probably should move Juggernauts next turn and also repair them with a clone. And prepare my engineers to repair automatons. So there we go. Nice and easy. So I also want to take this with seal without leaving. But I also don't want my army to be stuck here. So for that I will bring here another hero. Just checked if she has books. So a might hero will be capable of doing this fight. And I mean, it's just in case there are more than one stack. Okay, so if there is just one stack, probably should be pretty easy fight without any books. So it's kind of actually refreshing to see that I have some foresight in terms of combat requirements and potential challenges. Okay, maybe there was no point in swapping entire artifact sets. Should have probably kept at least spell power items to seal, so that I didn't have to basically trade back. Okay, there are 5 stacks. Okay, very nice to have 3 stacks of quattles. As you can see, it's gonna be very useful. Probably should be shooting at some other stack than the one in the middle. Okay, so next turn should be repairing. Interesting. Okay. So I will just block this stack with this one and then do this repair. And that's about it. Just nicely avoiding any damage from the remaining stack, and also making sure that it doesn't kill itself. Also a good thing. A bit of an awkward thing here. Should have traded artifacts properly, honestly, first time, so I didn't have to do it again here. And Henrietta didn't really need any items besides the books in that fight, and even books were not necessary. So I'm not sure what am I doing here with Winston. He certainly doesn't look like doing much of useful things, or many. Grindan definitely doing very useful things, just like AI does very useful things. Gather resources. Maybe some other day he will have something to do. Who knows? Kind of actually a bit painful to look at Grindan at this point. I mean, not this point exactly, but I remember it was so disappointing to see his movement points bar so low. Now that like most other heroes either have logistics or have boots or maybe at least have faster units, so he started his first turn with what, like maybe Storm Elementals as the fastest unit. It's not bad, but his movement bar was so low. I remember I cringed when I saw it. Okay, we start doing some tough fights. Zombies, as we all know, are the best unit in the game. Because they have a super duper ability. That probably no one knows what it does. I mean, probably some people do, honestly. But I'd have to assume that 95% of players never even bothered learning what this ability does. And it, of course, happens only because they're so good. I mean, even without this ability, they destroy everyone in sight, and with this ability, it's just lights out for the opposition. So, okay, I satisfied my completionist urge here. And also this turn we added 2 more towns. Not bad. I would say it's pretty good. Now the bad part that this turn took what, an hour to make? Maybe not best. But also, I mean, realistically, can you expect a single turn to take like 10 minutes and also to take 10 towns at the same time, or like 30 fights the same turn? Probably not. Okay, we are told about a white key. Should be important. Okay, Bertram couldn't resist to take a shiny thing. Okay, so Bertram is going to... well, you could say he's going to town, but that probably might have been misinterpreted. So he's going to take a few fights and then capture a town. Okay, that's probably something that is gonna be less prone to misinterpretation. The easiest form of kiting on Earth. Or any other planet, honestly. I mean, probably if there are aliens who play Heroes 3, thanks to New World computing, of course, these aliens did not see an easier fight than that. Now, this fight, I will employ one trick. Okay, one trick that is quite interesting, I think. So, this fight will use forcefield, but there is one thing that makes this trick kind of important. Okay, there are two Crusader stacks, so using a force field here may not work. It may still work without this trick, but it may also not work. So you will see what happens here. I want to put these archangels right where they stood, right there. And for that I needed to kill my phoenixes. One phoenix, okay. And so at this point enemy units do not have anything to do, and good for me, archangels are blocking the path for crusaders. So that's a very nice trick, I think. It requires some setup for sure, so archangels would not normally stand there, but you can actually, even if champions did not kindly offer their help there to put archangels in that position, it was possible still to force them. Not force, but kind of trick them into this position. So I think it's a pretty nice trick. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today. Please leave your feedback in the comments below. See you in the next one. Bye.